body. Next, children, what we have is, what does this potential energy of a body depend on? On what does it depend means? So, see, let us consider two cases in which a body of mass m1 is falling towards the ground. First case only, this is first case. This is second case, children. In the case 1, a body of mass m1 is falling towards the ground. So, it will reach the ground, and while falling, it is traveling, it is falling straight towards the earth. Let us consider a second case. A body of mass m2 is also made to fall down towards the ground, and finally it will reach the ground. But it is not falling in the same straight path, children. Instead, it is moving here, there, and finally it will come to ground. In first case, it is falling in the straight line. But in the second case, it is going here, and finally reaching the ground. Here, what happens to the potential energy in both the cases, if at all we consider, children? The potential energy remains the same for both the cases. It depends on with what speed the body is moving, but not on the path. It depends on speed or velocity of the body, but it does not depend on the path. After finishing school, you go home. That is important. But whether you go in the straight road or you go to your friend's house and then go to your home, doesn't matter. Like that, for example. So, whether the body is falling straight or following in the different path doesn't matter, children. But with what speed it is falling down matters. This is one point you will have to keep in mind. Next, in your textbook, children, page 153, you have this figure. See, it is useful to note that the work done by the gravity depends on difference in vertical heights of the initial and final position of the object, and not on the path along with which the object is moved. I said the potential energy of the work done. They are stating in terms of gravity. Yes, gravity depends on the vertical height from which the object is falling, but not on the path of which it is falling. Please keep it in mind. Before that, you have the definition mg into h, the formula for potential energy. Next, you have the example problem 11.5, which we shall be solving now. The question is, find the energy possessed by an object of mass 10 kg when it is at a height of 6 meters above the ground. Very simple problem and very direct problem as well. So let us write the given data first. Find the energy possessed. Andre, obviously we don't know what the potential energy is. So potential energy we have to find out. So question mark. Given mass of the object is how much? 10 kg. When it is at a height of 6 meters above the ground, and they are given G as 9.8 meter per second square. So we know all the quantities required, m, g and h, and directly we shall find it out by subtracting the formula. Potential energy is m into g into h. Mass is 10 kg. Acceleration due to gravity is 9, and height is 6 meter, children. So 10 6 is 60. I will do it here. 60 into 9.8, when you do 8 zeros are 0, 8 6 are 48, 9 zeros are 0, 9 6 are 54, 0, 8 plus 0, 8 4 plus 4, 8, 5 as it is. One digit after decimal point, so one digit under, we got potential energy as 588. So kinetic energy, potential energy, in general, energy if you take children, it is always expressed in terms of joule. So in this case also, potential energy is expressed in joules and hence it is 588 joules or joule. Either way you can say. That is about the first example problem. Next is example 11.6. An object of mass 12 kg. So as I read, I will write the given data. Mass given is 12 kg here. Is at a certain height above the ground. Certain height andre namaga height kodta illa. So H is question mark. If the potential energy of the object is 480 joules. So potential energy is given which is 480 joules. Find the height which the object is with respect to the ground, and they have given here luckily G as 10 meter per second square, children. If at all in the problem they have only said us to consider G as 10, take it as 10, or else you have to substitute as 9.8 meter per second square only. So again same formula for potential energy, mgh only we will be using. But here children, h is unknown. We don't know to what height we have to raise the object in order to gain the potential energy of 480 joules. So if you just manipulate this formula, what is height h? Potential energy will be, see in between m, g and h there is product, that is multiplication sign is there. Means if at all you send any two terms to the other side, you will have to divide it. So potential energy divided by m into g is equal to h will be the formula in order to find out the height. We derived this from this formula step. Now let us substitute. What is potential energy? It is given as 480 joules divided by mass of the body is how much? 12 kg into G is 10. So is equal to, when you simplify you get nothing but the height of the body. So 0 in the numerator gets cancelled with 0 in the denominator. 12 ones are 12. 12 fours are 48, isn't it? So we got h4 is equal to h. Therefore, h is equal to 4 meter. How do you choose it has to be written in meter? It is because kg SI unit alide, joule alide, joule alide, and meter per second square. So h is 4 meter. You always keep it SI unit. Correct? Yes, they have got h as 4 meter, children. This is only two example problems what you have on the concept of potential energy. Next what you have is about the law of conservation of energy. Before that you have small topic on can energy be converted. Yes, always energy can be transferred from one form to another. This you have been studying from lower classes and examples also not required. You can see various examples where you can see conversion of energy from one form to another in daily life as well. Switch on the light. Electrical energy will be converted into light energy. Maybe, what else you can say? When you use the battery or the cell for your watch or maybe your TV remote, the chemical energy in the battery or the cell is converted into electrical energy. Like this, various examples you can give for conversion of energy, children. When this transformation is taking place, what will happen to the total energy is the question. What will happen to the total energy of the body? We have already studied in the previous lesson, that is in gravitation lesson, about the concept of conservation of momentum. When initial momentum, final momentum, whatever it happens, the total momentum is conserved, isn't it, children? Here also, whatever may be the initial and the final energy, but the total energy always is conserved. The total energy is always conserved. That is very important. To example, what is this total energy conserved upon? Just now I explained you about the concept of energy by considering the example of lifting an object to certain height. Alva? Only children, when this is ground, okay na, you have lifted an object, maybe a box you say, a box of mass m to certain height h above the ground now. Understood? When I am lifting this box, this is ground up. ground or floor or think whatever you want. Now you have lifted the box to a certain height h of mass m above the ground, that is against the gravitational force of the earth. When you do so, children, the box now possesses the potential energy. You have done some work in order to lift the object to a certain height. No, the stored energy, now the box is storing some energy. It is ready. I want to fall down. I want to fall down. It is ready for that. So to fall, it needs energy. Who is giving that energy? Of course, we are giving energy. We means how? By lifting the object to certain height, we are storing some energy in the box. That is nothing but the potential energy. So when you just leave it, what will happen? The box will fall down and that potential energy is spent. Potential energy is spent and it gains the kinetic energy in order to fall and finally reach the ground, children. But in between, what is happening is what matters in order to understand about this concept of conservation of energy. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, as you all know, when you are lifting to certain height, the potential energy is stored in the body, children. So when the box is falling or the object is falling down towards the earth, the potential energy, what happens to the potential energy? It goes on decreasing. What happens to the kinetic energy? It go on increasing, isn't it? Potential energy spend ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಖರ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So potential energy is decreasing, but it's as in when it reaches near and near to the earth, the gravitational pull of the earth will increase its velocity and hence the kinetic energy will be going on increasing, children. Potential energy decrease ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ kinetic energy increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. So how much ever the potential energy is getting in decrease, that much of energy is increased in terms of kinetic energy, children. So this is not affecting the total energy of the body and hence we say the total energy is conserved anta ashte. You have also studied how to state law of conservation of energy in the lower classes. Your favorite statement, what is it? The energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can only be transferred from one form to another form. This is about the concept of conservation of energy. Simple words, one law ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. This concept you should know, how the energy is conserved. That is important. So here in your textbook they have explained the law of conservation of energy, children. Here consider a simple example they have given. Let an object of mass m be made to fall freely from a height h at the start. At the start, the potential energy is mgh and kinetic energy is 0. Yes, no? Before it fall down, potential energy is mgh, kinetic energy is 0. Once it starts to fall, the potential energy will finally become 0 when it reaches the ground and kinetic energy will be half mv square. Correct? Formulas ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. They are explaining in terms of formula ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Why is the kinetic energy 0? Just now I said. It is 0 because its velocity is 0. They only said the total energy of the object is thus mgh. As it falls, its potential energy will change into kinetic energy. If v is the velocity of the object at a given instant, the kinetic energy would be half mv square. As the fall of the object continues, the potential energy would decrease while the kinetic energy will increase. When the object is about to reach the ground, h is 0 and v will be the highest. Why h will be 0? No more height. It is almost reached ground and ground hatra ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ h is 0 and kinetic energy will be at maximum. And sorry, velocity, speed will be maximum. Why? Because due to the gravitational pull of the earth. I already said you everything. Just I am reading it for you. However, the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy of the body would remain same at all the points. So that is what it meant. The sum of potential energy and kinetic energy is constant always. That is mgh plus half mv square is equal to constant. Hence we say the total energy of a body is conserved, anta children. That's all. Next is rate of doing work. I already said you many times and I am telling you again, the term rate with any physical quantity when it comes, children, it is nothing but with respect to time anta. That is why you define rate of change of displacement is velocity. distance or displacement with respect to time andre rate ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. Rate of change of velocity v by t is acceleration, like this, children. So rate of doing work and takshana, what you should do? Divide work by t. What is this work done? Sorry, rate of doing work andre it is defined by the term p, where p is power, children. So the rate of doing work, I already said you, rate and kudla any physical quantity, let it be, children, just divide it by time. If you are talking about any physical quantity with respect to its time, then we say rate of that. Rate of change of velocity, rate of change of displacement. Illi rate of doing work we are finding out andre in what time you are performing the work antaralla. Hence we have to divide the term work by t, and it is given by p, which is nothing but the power. So how much time you are taking to do some work gives the power. If your power is more, of course you do the work fast, you consume less time. The person who is strong will consume less time in order to do a work compared to a weaker person. So like that this ratio goes. If you are strong enough, if you are taking less time to do the work. If you are weak, then you are taking more time to do the work. So you say power, 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 power. Use the word power, you know. Power is defined as the ratio of work done to the time taken. The unit of power is watt. Now what is the unit of power andre? It is watts. It is named after the scientist James Watt, who discovered this, children. So it is defined as watt, and WATT, watt, represented by letter W. And if you consider higher terms, here they are given the unit of power is watt in honor of James Watt, having the symbol W. 1 watt is the power of an agent which does work at the rate of 1 joule per second. We can also say that power is 1 watt when the rate of consumption of energy is 1 joule per second. So how is 1 watt defined andre? 1 watt is nothing but 1 joule per second. Either you can write J/S, 1 J S to the power -1. Either way you can write it. So like that only kilowatt hour also you have. 1 kilowatt, you know kilo means 1000. So 1000 joule per second is 1 kilowatt. That is what they have explained here. The power of an agent may vary with time. This means that the agent may be doing work at different rates at different interval of time. Therefore, the concept of average power is useful. We obtain the average power by dividing the total energy consumed by the total time. Means this rate of doing work need not be always with respect to the people, children. It may be with respect to machines as well. Some machines may consume more time in order to do work, whereas some machines may consume less time. So that is its power. Rate of its capacity to do the work, rate of change of work, how much time it is consuming. So maybe in the first 10 minutes I have more energy, so I do the work fast. But in the next 10 minutes I may feel little low, so I do the work at slower rate. By the time of I spend 1 hour, I will be zero energy in my body, so I will take lot of time, more time to do the work. Like that, in 1 hour span, how much work I did and how much time I took, what is the power if you want to calculate? Total energy by time, total work done by total time, you do take the average, they are same. Very simple. Next we shall solve exam.